you're missing out. You're missing out. If you're a rock, or indeed a soul fan, or a 70s rock fan, or a rock fan, or a fan of good music, if you don't know DeWolff, you're missing out. Yes, they are a band from Holland, and there are three of them. There are the Van der Pol brothers, Pablo, Luca, and Robin Piso. And they've been making a righteous, superb noise for many years now. They've been working from, or moving from, experimental type work into more classic rock with a big organ in there and all of that. They've produced the fastest made album. I think it still is. It's the Tascam tapes. And then they produced more of a 70s psychedelic kind of feel. New album is recorded at, well, it's called Muscle Shoals. So you can have a guess where it's recorded. And what they've done is they've accessed some soul and some funky soul and some 70s easy on the ear. Not Lonnie Liston vibes, because he's actually far more laid back than this band ever get. But there's some psychedelic stuff here and big jams, and I love seeing them live. And folks, I won't say too much about it because there's a review coming out, but I saw them last night. I saw them last night at the wonderful Deaf Institute, a painted, velvet flock, wallpapered, lovely room here in Manchester. And folks, they did an hour, and then almost exactly 24 minutes of encores, and it was just brilliant and just right. Because that high kicking, finger clicking Pablo is just, well, he reminds me of a kind of Van Morrison type, but with a lot more winsome humour and enjoyment. Well, not that Van wasn't enjoying himself, but he's not one for winsome humour, was he? Or is he? Maybe he is. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, that high kicking soul review stuff, and he plays the guitar, does Pablo as well. He's the mainspring. He's a singer. Although we've got several singing. It's not just him, but that focal point was fantastic last night. There are jams that go on for ages and drum solos that go on for ages, and none of that is a problem. They go on for ages because they've earned it and because they're brilliant at it, and it never seems egregious in any way, shape or form. They produced bashing, grab you by the lapels, this is what you came for rock. Real lovely listen moments. Listen, yes, listen. As I say, great funky jams and real explorations. And then they are a wonderful, soulful rock, blues, 70s offer. Last night, Pablo, at the end of this gig, left the stage and through the audience, came up to the back where I was sitting, more or less, on some seats, had a hug with some people, including the DeWolff fan club who was sitting just beside me. The two people who run that all the way from Holland, who were talking about the Dawn Brothers with me because no one else knows the Dawn Brothers, they thought. So, yes, they're good to look out for as well. DeWolff like the Dawn Brothers like DeWolff. Dawn Brothers are a far more soulful entity. They've got a new album out. Anyway, had a hug with people, then got on the bar, demanded a drink, got one, and boogied on down from there. It was fantastic. Now, this is not your usual Steve Swift Rambling Reviews podcast review, is it? I just wanted to tell you what a fantastic evening it was last night. It was an event. The place was ruched and rouge and strongly coloured and fecund, and so were DeWolff, they had those 70s fecund shades. They were wearing them. It was wonderful to see. The velvet stuff is lovely, and it just suits their appeal beautifully. This is fecund rock with humour, great humour and fun. That's the way rock should be. It takes you back, takes me back. Have a look at their albums. There's loads of them, folks. You will move through different kinds of appeals. It will give you so much. Have a listen, perhaps to Thrust or maybe Four. Maybe then move through from there. Try the experimental albums, the early ones. And then culminate with Muscle Shoals, which has a beautiful soulful nature, but they can never stay soulful too long because that big riff and that big guitaring is absolutely always there, and they always want it. They always want to kick their legs up, and they always want to scream for mercy. And you know, when you've heard their albums, you'll be screaming too, but for more. Ta-ta.